Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to another Real Madrid review. Real Madrid 3, Borussia Dortmund 2. Real Madrid are through to the semi-finals of the Club World Cup. High drama, lots to talk about in this one. I thought the game was a very good watch. Funnily enough, because this game was at 4 a.m. for some stupid reason for me, because I live, across the globe from the US, right? I had to watch this at midnight, and I fell asleep after halftime as there was that break going on. So I couldn't really catch up to the second half drama. I had to wake up in the morning and then look at the highlights. But I was watching the first 45 minutes, and I was very impressed, and I was very happy with what I saw. The second half, I think it was a little bit more pragmatic. It was a little bit more calm. I really believe that if Real Madrid wanted to, being 2-0 up going into half time, we could have made it 3-0 or 4-0. But we didn't, and then we gave away a silly goal to get Dortmund back in the game, and then we decided we have to get that second, the 2-goal margin. We went to do that, and then again we considered a really stupid penalty. We'll get into all that later, but it was probably a little bit too close for me. But ultimately, a win is a win, and I was close with my prediction. I said 3-1 Real Madrid, very close, and I did also say García will score, which he did. But yeah, for me, that was a very good game, not just for Real Madrid. I think it's a neutral, you would really have enjoyed that game. And I think there's a lot of learning point, a lot of talking point, and yeah, let's get into it. Firstly, on Borussia Dortmund, the first 45 minutes I was watching them, I thought they were really, really disappointing. They came into this playing their usual / newer 3-back system under Kovac, and I really expected that to be similar to us, except the difference is, their midfield a little bit more lesser men in the midfield, because you would argue that they would have 2 men, with Brand being more attacking and joining the likes of Adeyemi and García up front. So ideally, they would have Sabitzer and Pascal Gross as a midfield duo. But that would have left them a little bit more exposed in the midfield, I suppose. But in the attack, they would have had 3 players, including the wing backs, so 5 players being involved in the attacks. But every time Real Madrid get the ball and we are running at Dortmund, I feel like we are running at 3 players only. It feels like the wing backs aren't there, they aren't tracking back, and I might be wrong here. It feels like it, okay? It feels like the 2 midfielders who are supposed to come back to help out defensively aren't there as well. So it feels like every time it would be an overload, it would be a 3v3 or 4v3 in favor of Real Madrid. For me, I feel that way. It might not be true, but it really felt that there were a lot of open space in behind their defense and in behind their midfield and in front of the defense. That sort of pocket, and it was very well exploited. If you look at the first goal, the second goal, especially the second goal, I mean, Fran García scores a great goal. But again, the fact that Fran García can just make that run into the box and then score that tells you that the organization defensively from the midfield, especially, and the defense of Dortmund weren't that great. The second half, I thought they played much better, and they made it a little bit too tight for my liking. So yeah, it was a lot closer, but the first half it was disappointing for Borussia Dortmund, and there's that. But for Real Madrid, I I have a lot of talking points, but let me just talk about the goals first. Let me just get that out of the way. First goal, it was a great play on the left side. Fran Garcia was lively, was getting involved, was brilliant. Fran Garcia was brilliant. I think it's safe to say that Ferland Mendy is probably not going to be getting back in the team, even if he's fit anytime soon, with the way Fran Garcia played. Not just today, but especially today. I thought Vini had a decent game. A lot of people once again online hating on Vini Jr. for no reason. Vini Jr. did his job. Yes, he didn't score. Yes, he didn't create a lot. But again, we all know Vini Jr. is always man-marked by 2-3 players, firstly. And he was being a lot less selfish. He was always trying to make that pass back to Fran Garcia, or into Bellingham, or into Arda Güler, or getting across for Gonzalo Garcia in the box. He was trying to provide for the other players, not trying to do the fancy dribbling, the rainbow flick, which we all like aesthetically, is pleasing, but that would result in losing possession, right? He was trying to keep possession, he was playing it smart, unselfish, and he was working for the team. He was pressing, he was doing everything he needed. He was involved for the first goal. Arda Güler as well had a very good game. But yeah, Arda Güler gets the ball, puts in a cross from that left-hand side, and then it's Gonzalo Garcia who's unmarked in the box. I think it was Benza Baini who was the closest to him. Not sure what he was doing. Nothing Kobo could have done about that. Very good finish. 1-0. Top goal scorer, by the way, of the Club World Cup. I know he's joined, but considering everyone else in the top 5 or top 10, apart from Pedro Neto of Chelsea, are knocked out of the competition. So Guirassy has 4 goals. He's out, right? And I hope Gonzalo Garcia can score against PSG as well, and hopefully in the final if we can win. But we'll get onto that in the preview in the upcoming days. Second goal, again, this time around on the right hand side, brilliant play. And I want to talk about something here. Gonzalo Garcia, although he didn't get a goal or assist for this goal, that work ethic to drop into the right hand side to provide that support for Arda Güler, for Jude Bellingham, and for Trent was brilliant. And what that did was that sort of playing that sort of square, locking up the Dortmund left hand side for them, and there was passing options. It was like a square, and Gonzalo Garcia was on the right hand side, and then in behind him was Arda Güler. Bellingham was forming that triangle, and then Trent just came and formed that square, which meant that, okay, not necessarily a square, but something similar to that shape, which meant that Bellingham would get the ball to Arda Güler, who would give it to Gonzalo Garcia, through ball forward for Trent, low driven cross into the box, and that takes out 2 Dortmund defenders. They probably didn't expect anyone in the middle, because Gonzalo Garcia is not in the middle, neither is Bellingham, so their focus would be on the left. And then Dortmund scored. They got one back in the last 10 minutes or so of the match, with Bayer scoring. Very poor there. Poor clearance from Rudiger. I've seen a lot of hate for Antonio Rudiger, by the way, and that's just not deserved. I mean, he has been solid, and one mistake, again, similar to Fede Valverde missing the penalty against Al Hilal. One mistake doesn't determine and doesn't prove a player's ability, and it won't overshadow all the good things Rudiger has done. Again, poor clearance, but it's what it is. We move, right? And they got the goal, and then it was a little bit nervy. You can see Xabi Alonso down on the touchline, obviously looking a little bit nervous, stressed out. And then again, good player on the right hand side. I think it was Rodrigo, wasn't it? Into Arda Güler, puts the cross in to the back post, and a bicycle kick from Mbappé. Brilliant stuff. And it's not a proper bicycle, it's sort of like a bicycle slash sidekick, but wow. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. And then you would think game, set, done. There's about 6 minutes added on. And yeah, you score in the 4th minute of the 6th. That is it, right? You would think so. No. Because from kickoff, Dortmund made that run. I don't know who he was. Maybe it was Bayer or something. Sends it through for García. And look, at that moment in time, García is through on a 1v1. Somehow. And for Dean Huijsen, this is the issue. Now, the one thing that we said about Asensio's red card against Pachuca, just let the man go. Now, this is a different circumstance. Asensio did it early on, and that backfired the whole game, right? But there was a meaning to that, because you don't want to go 1-0 down in a game, right? Because if Rondon had gone through, scored 1-0, right? In this one, we are winning 3-1. Just let him go. If García scores, he scores. Not only are you giving them a penalty, which they would score eventually, you are also getting a red card, which means we are going to finish the game with 10 men, which ultimately nearly costed us, by the way. And you'll miss the game against PSG, which is going to cost us, not by the sense of the game, but it will affect us. You have a big impact. Dean Huijsen has been incredible. He has been brilliant. But that was unnecessary. It really was. Just let the man go. Don't need to be pulling his shirt from behind. García knows, as long as Huijsen touches his shirt, that's it. And Huijsen has done what Asensio did. But this time it's certainly more impactful, I would say, because we are going into a game against the Champions League winners next Wednesday, and arguably our best centre back in this Club World Cup so far is going to be out for that. Now, if we make it to the final, he'll be back, but we're not going to really be looking so far ahead. We have to cross the bridge when we get to that. The next game is PSG, and next game Huijsen won't be there. So that was clumsy. That was unnecessary. You let them score 11 men, 1 goal. It's okay. It's okay. But then you get a red card and you concede. That's not really okay. Why would you get that red card for no reason? Just why, right? You're taking a gamble, but a very risky one. Anyways, yeah, I just wanted to go through the team and just end off here. Yeah. Courtois was incredible. That final final kick of the ball, that save, wow. But again, made some big saves today. I thought Trent was brilliant as well. The first half, I think he got an assist. He made a couple of tackles, won the more duels. You know, he was doing well defensively. Not too bad. Rudiger and Huijsen, they were both okay up until the final 10 or so minutes. Rudiger obviously giving the ball and giving the goal away. Huijsen getting the red card. But again, you know, overall, they were not too bad. Fran García was incredible, man. Could be man of the match, to be fair. Really could be. Fede Valverde was good. Tchouaméni, I thought, was decent. Arda Güler was very good. Bellingham got involved, pretty good. Gonzalo Garcia was very good. Vini Jr. was decent. And then Mbappé came on, made an impact. Modric came on. Rodrigo did come on. That is kind of interesting there. Ceballos and Asensio also came on. So, my man of the match, I would say, is between Fran Garcia, Arda Güler or Gonzalo Garcia. I will give it to Fran Garcia. Why not? Let's show Fran Garcia a little bit of appreciation and love. But yeah, very nice overall. Just to get the job done. We're through, and that's all we are here for. Again, the progression percentage wise, I don't think, again, we're not at 100% yet. You can see the fragility defensively towards the end. We are still around the 75-80% mark. We're slowly progressing, and that will be shown. How far are we now against PSG? Because it's a whole level of test, and I can't wait for that. But let me know what thoughts are down below. Hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. Hit the subscribe to just on already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.